Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Intuitive Angling. Much appreciated you guys taking a little time out of your day to watch the video. And today I'm going to give you guys some really good information on how to spool a spinning reel with straight fluorocarbon line without getting those, fluffs and bird's nests and twisted line and tangled line, that type of stuff. I've had several, actually quite a few requests from subscribers to figure out how to do this, because you guys know I've talked about it in the videos before. I do not use braided fluorocarbon. I don't like it. I think it's overrated. I don't think you need it. I think there's more advantages to straight fluorocarbon. I don't have any problems. The guys, all you dudes out there talking about it's a big hassle to use straight fluorocarbon. If you do it right, you're not going to have those hassles, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Real quick, just want to give you guys a weekly reminder. If you have a chance, go by fishthemoment.com. Check out our lake map breakdowns over there that myself, Matt Steffen, and Johnny Schultz is doing. We got lake map breakdowns all over the country, spring season, summer, winter, fall. We do personal map breakdowns. It's just a great way to learn more about your favorite lake or a lake you don't know anything about. So check them out at fishthemoment.com. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about this. Like I said, I don't use braided fluorocarbon. I don't like it. I think there's far too many disadvantages to it versus the advantages. It doesn't help you get any more bites. I think in my opinion, it's a big fad. If you pose the question to me, why all these Elite Series guys use braided fluorocarbon and they're winning tournaments and they're catching, all these fish on braided fluorocarbon, how can you disagree with that? My rebuttal to that is if they were using straight fluorocarbon, they'd catch even more fish and they do even better than they're doing with braided fluorocarbon. So that's my stance on it. So anyway, let's get into this a little bit, the problems you have. The problems that anglers have the reason they don't like braided fluorocarbon, besides a lot of guys use the argument that it's cheaper to use some braid with fluorocarbon leader. If you use straight fluorocarbon and you do it right, you're not going to have to replace it that much if you prepare the line, get it on right, that type of stuff. And I'm going to show you guys the tips to do. First of all, one of the things you have to do, guys, is when you're spooling the line, make sure that the line is coming off the spool of the line you're putting it on the same way it's going on the reel. So look at the direction that your reel's going and make sure that this line is coming off to where it goes on the same way it's spooling up. Big problem you have if you don't do that, that's immediately going to get your line twisting really bad if you put the spool on the wrong direction where it's actually reversed from what it's going to be. That's probably what the biggest mistake a lot of guys make. The next thing you want to do on this thing is, it's another thing you can even take it further, is put it in some water. If you have some water where you can put it in, where you can still get it to do the same thing, the lubrication of the line coming off of there will further relax the line and allow it to go on even better and straight on there. The next thing you guys want to remember is when you're spooling up here, make sure that you got a lot of tension on the reel. So see, I've got my right hand, I'm holding it real tight and I'm putting it on there. This is a big thing. One of the big keys a lot of people have, or big problems, is when they spool it up, they don't have enough tension. I'm holding this line super, super tight right here. And by doing that, it's going on really tight. It's going on the same way that it came off the spool. It's wet a lot of times, and this is gonna get that line to seat down there real good. The next thing, guys, you want to make sure of is when you finish spooling your line here, see how I've got a little bit of a space right here in between the where the line came up and the outside of the spool. You do not want to fill the line all the way to the top of the spool here. You need to leave I like about 1/8 of an inch gap right there. See, there's about 1/8 of an inch. If you fill that spool or that line all the way to the end there, that's going to cause you a lot of fluff. So make sure that you don't fill it like that, and that's going to give you a big thing. And finally, one of the things you need to do on this, guys, is a lot of times you just have to visually check before you make a cast. A lot of times, make sure that you don't have a little loop in there, because that's what happens is when you have the fluff and the backlash and the problems with line twists and everything, it's usually because there's a little bit of loop in there, and that loop is usually created. It's like when you make a cast, and say for example you click the bell over or flip the bell over. A lot of times when you do that, if you have some slack in the line, it'll cause a little loop in there. So just do a little visual inspection occasionally to make to make sure that everything's set with that. But guys, this is how I use it. I use straight fluorocarbon all the time. Well, the only time that I don't is sometimes if I'm fishing a floating worm and the water's pretty dirty, sometimes, and I'm fishing it on the surface, I may use straight braid. I never ever use braided fluorocarbon on there. I never do. And you know, like I said, we've talked about this. I've done a lot of videos in the past about it. I think the disadvantages far outweigh the advantages of it. And the guys that I take on my on the water lessons, I mean, there's two things that a lot of people come away with on my on the water lessons. They go to a spinning rod for a jerk bait. That's the first thing I teach. The second thing I teach is to use straight fluorocarbon on your spinning reels. And most of the time, by the time they're done with the trip at the end of the day, they've basically, you know, seen the advantages of the straight fluorocarbon and the spinning rod setup. But anyway, guys, that's it. Just give it a try. And I'm not saying you guys are saying, oh, Randy, you're a dinosaur, you're not keeping up with the times like live scope. Guys, I have spent hundreds of hours fishing braided fluorocarbon and spinning outfits. Hundreds. I've experimented with a dozen different braided fluorocarbon knots. I know what the deal is with that. It's been through my experimentation and my analyzation and the hundreds and hundreds of hours I put on the water every year with a spinning reel that straight fluorocarbon is the way to go. I think it gets you more bites. I think it gets better action on your lures. I think it's a much more efficient way to fish. I think it's just a lot better system. So anyway, guys, hope that helps. If you guys want to try the straight fluorocarbon and get off the braid, use those tips that I gave you, because I can promise you, if you're having problems and you've gotten frustrated with the line fluffs on a spinning rod, it's because you're not using those tips. So give them a try, and I think you guys will be pretty happily pleased with the results on it. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in. And man, please hit that subscribe button. Half you dudes out there watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you get anything out of the videos I do, if I'm giving you any tips at all, it's just a nice, fair, even, universal exchange to hit that subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated, guys. See y'all later.